Welcome back to some new Malicious Compliance Stories, where people comply to the letter but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Don't Unload It. This happened a while ago. I had to deliver some of our company's products from one work site to another multiple times. I usually arrived before the other employees started to work, so I figured I could unload my car already, in order to save my coworkers time and for me not to be interrupted during my work later during the day. Plus, I was the one who knew which products were ordered by which customer, so I didn't have to spend time figuring out which belongs to which customer, since I was the one who loaded everything into the car. I put all the loose products for each customer from the trunk on a separate Euro pallet, pushed it into our workshop with a pallet truck, put the delivery notices on each of them, and left them in a visible place for my coworker to move them wherever he wanted, whenever he wanted, without much hassle or manpower needed. When he arrived and started working, I went up to him and told him what products arrived and for which customer these were, in order to make sure he knows about the orders as well. Since I didn't know where to put the pallets, I placed them into the workshop via the pallet truck. I didn't want these products to stay outside and open up an opportunity for passers-by to steal the company's products. After I did the same procedure twice, he came up to me and gave me a 10-minute lecture about how it could possibly come to my mind to make such a huge mess in the workshop. He criticized that I put the products in the wrong place, messing up his storage system, and that the products fell off the Euro pallets all the time. This is funny, because it didn't happen when I used the pallet truck to bring them into the workshop. As such, he declared I'm not allowed to unload the car again. A week later, we received a huge order with over 2 tons worth of products. I had 560 kilograms of different products customized but not packaged in my trunk. As per his request, I didn't unload the car. At some point he came up to me and asked me to unload the car. My response? No, I'll just make a huge mess in the workshop. And we don't want the products to fall off the pallets. You should just do it by yourself. His face when he realized he had to sort it all out himself and manually unload it was quite funny. It was even better when he noticed I couldn't bring a delivery notice because the order wasn't complete yet. Thus he had to check every single product and write down what products arrived in which quantity already. All by himself. Of course I knew the quantities, but he didn't ask me. That 5-minute task easily took him half an hour to do. The next story is called Don't Work For You. This was a few years ago. I work in a very busy medium-sized hospital. I was working as a CT tech and an X-ray, having permanent shifts every week in both departments. I decided to keep my hours in X-ray and give up my permanent hours in CT and asked to stay per diem. The two departments had different managers. I gave a written notice of my intent, including my desire to stay on per diem, as I knew CT was forever understaffed. After a few weeks went by, I emailed the manager of CT and asked if I needed to reapply as per diem, or if I could just start saying yes to request to work in his department. No reply. I let 1 or 2 weeks go by and still I heard nothing. So I called him and he bumbled around, saying that he'd looked into it, but he felt he has plenty of staff to cover all the shifts, but it shouldn't be an issue to hire me back. After a few more weeks went by, the head CT tech who handled the schedule asked me to work the next day, because there was no one else to ask. I stated, the big boss hasn't given me the green light, so I can't. To which he responded, don't worry about it, I will take care of it. Come Monday morning, my former manager calls me as soon as he gets in to tell me I no longer work for him, and though he appreciates me helping, I'm no longer allowed to pick up shifts in CT. To which I replied, no worries, it will never happen again. Fast forward 1.5 years, and the shortage was so much worse. The manager was frankly trying to find someone to cover a shift that someone had just called out for. You guessed it. The idiot called me and asked me to work it. I simply replied, I can't. I don't work for you. I've never been so satisfied in my life. The third story is called Carpooling. My wife and I both teach. Next Monday is a school event called Sports Day, which is a half day. Instead of morning classes, the school rents out a local stadium and invites students, parents and teachers to attend and participate in a variety of events. Teachers are required to attend, and we are required to carpool. or take the shuttle from the school. We passed the stadium on the way to school every morning, so we elected the carpool. I emailed the event organizer, admin lady, that we have a carpool of 3. Me, my wife and our daughter enrolled in the school's daycare. Denied. Admin lady says we must carpool with 4 or more people. They are worried that there won't be enough parking for parents. Fine. We find a peer teacher who lives in our neighborhood and would love to carpool with us. I sent another email to the event organizer. Carpool of 4. Me, my wife, co-teacher and daughter. Denied again. Admin lady says our daughter doesn't count as a person. Even though she is a student at our school, she doesn't count toward the carpool statistics, which must be 4 teachers in our car. I asked for clarification. We are supposed to fit 4 adults and a toddler plus car seat in a compact Mitsubishi. Admin doesn't see the problem. We ping the teacher chat again and come up dry. Then I have a moment of inspiration. I know another co-teacher who lives in the apartments next to the stadium. He had originally planned on walking to the event. Now he's carpooling with us. The next story is called Mass Quitting. Over a decade ago, I was a material handler at a manufacturing company. Pretty tedious work, breaking down large batches of materials into smaller, manageable quantities for the workers. Gotta keep every station supplied, well organized, and order materials to meet future quotas. One day I notice a new lot of parts are out of spec. They are too small and will damage the final product, causing it to fail testing later. This part comes in lots between 5 and 30k, depending on what was ordered and passed inspection from the supplier. I put a hold on the lot of 25k, emailed the appropriate people and followed the procedure. Looking through the system, I realize we only have about 1k on hand and one more lot in our warehouse for 7k. This is enough for 1 week. I place another order for 30k. We usually get 25k. It takes 2 weeks to get, another week for cleaning and polishing. I sent off another email, informing of the shortage and how it will impact production. The only response I got was, "We'll look into it." After we ran out of parts, I was ordered to take the out-of-spec parts off hold. I refused. An engineer hadn't cleared them. The engineer was on vacation out of town, and the other didn't know. A few days later, some random engineer from another department told me they were good, and I was forced to release the lot. I got a verbal warning for insubordination, was relieved of my duties and got put back on production. 2 weeks later, all the parts are starting to fail. 2 weeks worth of about 110 people's labor, machine time, untold tens, possibly hundreds of thousands of individual parts wasted. Chaos erupts, mandatory overtime set, and I am just smiling. About 2 months go by, the 4th of July weekend coming up, and I got 5-day weekend with PTO. Managers tried to cancel, but I already had it approved in January. Almost everyone in the room was going to be working the 5th and 6th, Friday and Saturday. People were quitting left and right, and being forced to work 60 hours burnt them out. Since we had been working these few special machines so hard on overtime, the material was running out that it used to spray on the parts. To replace it, it required a 3-day cycle, which usually happened on a Friday to Sunday, every couple of months. We were about a week ahead of schedule with the overtime. I knew it, but no one else was paying attention. I decided to take a half day on Tuesday, so I could leave during the team leads meeting that I used to be a part of. On my way out, I mentioned this little problem. A couple of them ran to confirm. I grabbed a soda and left. I got a text from a coworker. They ran out of material Wednesday morning. Everyone got a 4-day weekend like they were supposed to. 10 people, including myself, quit on Monday. Moral of the story? Don't mess with the people that do all your future planning if you can't do it yourself. The last story is called Buy the Books. I worked for a large multinational company some years back in the logistics industry, and I did a lot of work on the computer. Due to that, I developed a small infection and some small joint in my wrist due to using the normal mouse provided by IT. I asked my boss if I could order a vertical mouse to relieve the pain in my wrist, and I was thinking the company would provide it. My boss referred me to our local HR, from hell. The manager of the HR was called, behind her back, Grim Reaper. She surely lived up to the nickname. Got a message from HR that the only way to get another kind of mouse is to go through the company mandated healthcare provider and get a referral from there. I thought it was stupid, because vertical mouses cost like 20 to 50 euro, and going to healthcare would surely add costs to that. But let's do what the HR tells you, since they know better, and obviously don't care about money. So I made the reservation to meet our doctor, 200 euro. She ordered some x-rays, 300 euros, and sent me to get instructions and training exercises from the company's dedicated physiotherapist, 300 euro. I went back to the doctor on a separate meeting, another 200 euro, and she forwarded me to a hand surgeon, 450 euro, for another opinion. The hand surgeon was kind enough to inject some cortisone, 100 euro, to my aching wrist and gave me 1 day sick leave, 300 euros, to recuperate from the injection. Spent that fishing and enjoying the nice summer weather. After going through all the hoops to get the referral for the mouse, it took HR about 2 months to instruct IT to deliver the mouse. The cortisone actually helped, and I didn't have any use for the vertical mouse. Otherwise, I would have ordered it myself. I just used the 2 months to remind my boss about the mouse on a regular basis and asked him to contact HR about it. It took close to 2,000 euros to go through the HR mandated route to get the relatively cheap mouse. But hey, everything has to be done by the book, right? Here's the kicker. Immediately after I received the mouse, I gave my 2 weeks notice. My resignation and the mouse were totally unrelated, but I sure made HR and my boss think that it was all about the mouse. I was one of the most valued employees in our company, so leaving sure did sting them a bit. It never fails to amaze me how stupid big corporations are when it comes to providing employees with the necessary tools to ease their job. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.